You may have heard that 60% of the calories that Americans ingest are from ultra-processed foods. This creates a lot of issues, but one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today is the micronutrient magnesium. So this is a mineral that 50% of Americans are deficient in, and the problem with that is that magnesium makes ATP, so that's how we energize our cells. It also is very involved in what's called DNA repair. So your DNA, your genetic material, can get damaged. It gets damaged all the time as a result of cells just dividing. So that's something that happens. But then you add on UV radiation and a terrible diet and other toxic exposure, and having trouble with your DNA repair enzyme is an issue. So when the body has to make a decision between making just energy for your cells versus repairing DNA, it's going to move toward just giving you enough energy to get through the day, right? So you don't want it to have to make that choice. You want to have enough magnesium. Magnesium also has to do with glucose regulation, so keeping glucose stable. So kind of no wonder we have a bit of an epidemic with prediabetes and diabetes. Where do you get your magnesium? You get it from dark leafy vegetables, dark green leafy vegetables, beans, nuts. And we don't eat enough greens in this country, and we don't eat enough beans, and some people are afraid of nuts. So you can see where you could get deficient rather easily. There's been some interesting studies. One looked at, by the way, the RDA, or the amount of magnesium is estimated that you need every day, is 350 to 400 milligrams. Now, this study looked at having cancer incidence increase, and what they found is for every 100 milligrams less that a person ate as compared to what the optimal amount is at 350 to 400, every 100 milligrams less they ate increased their risk for pancreatic cancer by 24%. And as you know, pancreatic cancer is pretty much a death sentence. It's not a cancer that we treat well. So just showing one of the values of magnesium and why moving your diet in that direction is a good idea. The dark green leafies, beans, and nuts. But the other thing is you can supplement. And so there's a lot of different magnesium supplements out there. Magnesium citrate is especially good if you have constipation, which is one of the symptoms of a magnesium deficiency. But then there's also malate and glycinate. You want to stay away from magnesium oxide. So if that's on the label of the magnesium you're about to buy, just put that back on the shelf, because it's not bioavailable. You're not going to extract the magnesium you need from a magnesium oxide. But the citrate or the malate, glycinate are your best bets. Once again, citrate is especially good if you have constipation. So the symptoms of magnesium deficiency are constipation, headaches, anxiety, muscle cramps. So these are some of the classic deficiency symptoms. But a lot of people are deficient, and there's so many reasons. Obviously, you could have anxiety and they're not attributing it to that. So testing your magnesium levels, you can do that in your blood, is really a great thing to do. Another thing that we do here at Root Cause is looking at your genetics, because your epigenetics are influenced by the environment, and we get our genetic profile obviously from mom and dad, and some of us are better at metabolizing, extracting things from our diet than other people are. So this can happen with vitamin D, where someone is taking vitamin D, but their vitamin D level in their blood is not going up at all because they have a genetic defect. Now, it's not a defect that you can't correct, because you can take a different type of vitamin D, and then your blood levels will rise. Similar with magnesium. So some people need a lot more magnesium than other people do, and that's not aberrant, it's just you're genetically different. So finding that out, that's where personalized medicine really comes in, which is something that we do here that I love. All right, let me check my notes and see if there's anything I forgot. Nope, that's everything I wanted to discuss with you today. So these micronutrients like vitamin D, magnesium, zinc are very often deficient in Americans, and we are really paying the price for that. So having a multiple on board, if you have certain symptoms that are, very prevalent, like say, getting back to vitamin D for a moment, if you get respiratory infections a lot, look at your vitamin D level. And then when you start taking vitamin D, then assess it again in your blood and make sure it's rising. Same thing with magnesium. So these are just some key nutrients that if we had a perfect diet would probably be fine. But then, as I mentioned, there's genetics. So we want to look at all of that and really get you optimized nutritionally so you can live your best life and feel great. All right, we'll talk soon.